the Gaia Armor is the most disappointing armor in the Mega Man X series. Okay, if you're still here, then hello everyone, ColeManX here. Today, I'm going to explain why the Gaia Armor is the most disappointing armor in the series, and talk about how close it was to greatness. So join me as we tackle the highs and lows of the Gaia Armor. Before we get into this, I need to preface. I really don't hate this armor, I'm just disappointed. It actually has quite a unique look to it. Look at X. He's built like a tank. Literally. You can even see the normal armor under the Gaia parts, so he looks extra reinforced. That's pretty cool. The armor stacking on top of the normal armor really reminds me of the Mega Mission armors. Gotta cover those one of these days. Anyway, the Gaia armor is one that I really wanna love, but it just has so many things going against it. It never really stood a chance. Honestly, I think the biggest issue with the Gaia armor is how little you get to use it. Since you need the completed Falcon armor to get some of the Gaia armor capsules, in a standard playthrough, you literally have to visit all 8 Maverick stages before you can even use the Gaia armor. In case you weren't aware, in X5 and X6 you need to fully complete an armor set before you can even use it. Not being able to use the armor in the main stages severely limits how much the player will get attached to it. Sure, it's a powerhouse against bosses, but what's the point when you can't even use it on the bosses in the first place? I know that you can get the Gaia armor capsules without the Falcon armor, but that requires special weapons and some real shenanigans and just takes an eternity. In a game already as long-winded as X5, is that really what you want to be doing with your life? There's also the Gaia armor's most famous punching bag. The helmet upgrade does nothing. I actually think Dr. Light was just too embarrassed to admit that he gave X an upgrade that took away his special weapon use, but what do I know? Maybe Light took away the ability for X to use special weapons as some sort of precaution. The armor can push certain blocks by dashing into them, so Light could have easily told X that that's what the helmet upgrade is for. The body parts also have the damage that X takes. While that's fine, that's also the standard for all of X's armors. Dr. Light describes the Gaia armor as an armor that specializes in defense, so I feel that it really needed a bigger buff in X's defenses. I actually really like how the arm parts work. Short-range shots that charge extremely quickly. These shots make short work of practically anything you put in its way. The leg parts granting X the ability to finally walk on spikes is a really fun concept. While it's not used that well in X5 itself, the idea still has a lot of potential. I don't know why exactly X sticks to walls with this armor, seeing as one of its selling points is that it's big and heavy, but whatever. The Gaia armor's Giga attack brings back the Street Fighter references, with X channeling his inner Chun-Li and unleashing a Kikosho, greatly damaging anything that gets caught by the blast.
You win!
So, how do we fix it? Wait a second. Flashback. So join me as we tackle the highs and lows of the Gaia armor. Join me as we tackle the a tackle. That's what this armor needs. A sort of tackle attack that emphasizes how X just can't be stopped. As mentioned earlier, X can already dash into certain boxes to move them. The animation is already there, so just let it damage enemies. Since the dash is such short range, you've got a great risk-reward type move on your hands. We also gotta bump up that defense. Either give it a 75% reduction or completely eliminate all knockback. That would be a pretty clever solution to Dino Rex and Pegasus pushing X around. The limited mobility being balanced out by a nigh-invincible X seems to be what they were going for in the first place, but you gotta commit to it. But we really gotta fix the biggest issue with this armor: availability. Without fundamentally changing the game design, how can we remedy this? Well, the answer's right in front of us when we beat the game. Just giving an Ultimate Armor style code that lets you begin the game with the Gaea Armor would really encourage replayability. It seems like such an easy change to make. Alternatively, just give the game a New Game Plus feature that would carry over all your upgrades to a new save file. That would actually be a fix for the poor way they handle the part system too. But now it's time for our favorite segment, Buster Breakdown. The Gaia Buster is one of the most unique busters we've ever seen from X. You can clearly see the normal blue X Buster completely surrounded by heavy armor. The reinforced look really gives the Buster a unique silhouette that's both functional and stylish. The Gaia Buster had a second shot at life in Rockman X Dive, where it was reinterpreted as the Biochemical Buster. The normal green shots of the Gaia Buster match the newly poison attributed take shown here. The extra details make it distinct enough to stand on its own, while still being recognizable as the Gaia Buster. Visually, the Gaia armor looks like X and a tank had a baby. The armor being mostly white and black makes it feel more industrial, and the rivets all over make it look like it was welded by hand. Dr. Light does mention that this armor was a very old prototype, so that checks out. All that makes this one of the more unique looking armors that X has ever donned. So yeah, the Gaia armor was a great design that was so close to being pretty fun. Kind of feels like X5 as a whole. Thankfully, in the next game, the basic concept of this armor would be redone to create one of the coolest armors in the entire X series. But we'll get there when we get there. And for what it's worth, Dive handled the Gaia armor really well and made it super fun to use. Well, that's about it for the Gaia armor. What do you think about it? Do you love it? Hate it? Think it needs more improvements? Let me know. And always remember those famous words from Dr. Light. He may move slow, he can't jump high, but this one's gonna make you die. I'd like to give a big thanks to Sprinkling and Daunted X for the artwork. Thank you so much. While editing this, it occurred to me that making the head parts convert weapon energy drops into health would have also been a fun solution. Couldn't really fit it in the script, but it really sells the tank factor. Anyway, big thanks to our channel members: SilBee, Derupi, Asterisk, Doranor, Springqueen, Masterman, Catfry, Fusion Catalyst, and the rest of our supporters. Mega March is right around the corner, so be on the lookout for that. More rambles and editorials are also in the works, so there's plenty of fun stuff in the pipeline. See you then. In a game already as long-winded as... In a game already as already... What? That's what I wrote. No wonder I'm stumbling. Jeez. That would be a pretty clever solution to Maple jumping on the desk. Come here, honey. Come here. Come here. Come on. Good girl. But now it's time for our favorite segment, Buster Breakdown.